Hello, fantastic students. My name is Dr. Stan Reeley, and I wanted to take just a few minutes of your time to go over a topic with you that is, I think, very important and also very almost absent in today's many of today's business environments, and that is the topic of business ethics. So I want to get into that in a moment, but in this very brief overview, let me just take a few minutes to share some thoughts with you. By the way, my name again is Stan Reeley, Dr. Stan Reeley, and I wanted to tell you a little bit about myself. That's my wife of 44 years and my grandson of 10 years. And not too long ago, well, I say that in terms that may seem ancient to many of you, but about 15 years ago, we relocated to Western North Carolina in the mountains of Western North Carolina, where we could actually experience 4 seasons. I'm just looking at my recording here, making sure that it's doing what looks a little faded. Hopefully it'll be okay. I'll try something in a moment to see if I can manipulate the quality of it. But nevertheless, our grandson is a great pleasure to us, and what I have done is I have relocated to Western North Carolina, where I teach all of my classes now online. So that's a really good method for working with students all over the world, of course, all over the country, all over the world, and it's a change in life. I used to teach in the live classroom environment, but that is the online realm is so much more improved these days, and there's so many options available to reach you, such as making a video recording, such as this one. But I did want to speak with you about the concept of business ethics and whether or not, the concept of business ethics is an oxymoron in a capitalistic type of economy. So we have the idea that yes, we're supposed to be ethical. Yes, we're supposed to practice social responsibility, and yes, we're supposed to do what's right, as well as what's legal. But ironically, it seems that in the ultimate concept in more of a capitalistic worldview is that do whatever you need to do in order to be successful. And I'm not saying that breaking laws is the way to success, but it seems that we read a lot about how laws are bent, or maybe not fully disclosed, or that there's lobbying and that sort of thing to help legislate in favor of business profitability at the risk of other types of things, such as pollution, let's say, as a byproduct of profitability and manufacturing success. But in the greater scheme of things, what is this really doing to our planet and its health and well-being? Immediate gain of income, is that more important than the longer-term effects that it provides? So why don't business leaders practice what they preach? Because we're taught in business schools to, and as faculty members, we're asked to always provide options to the idea of only profitability as being the means to the end. But yet we get into our business environments, and what happens to that idea? All right. So what should business schools do better to really authenticate the concepts of what we teach you to go out and do. And then we get there and we get into the business environment and it's not what we thought it would be. And our idealism goes out the window. All right, so we have to be aware of that. A few pillars of ethics that I wanted to share in this brief overview. And that being honesty and integrity. And these are pillars that leaders should practice and be authentic on. Promise keeping and trustworthiness and loyalty and fairness, concern for others, respect for others, and that's at every level of the hierarchy. Being law-abiding, because legal and ethical, there's a distinction there, because you can still be legal and then have perform or behave in ways that is ethically questionable. So where's the line there? Should our laws change to be more focused on providing that sustainability and provide motivators for business leaders to actually implement strategies that are better for, let's say, the environment and for the health and well-being of their workers, not exposing them to toxic types of chemicals and unsafe work environment, that sort of thing, at the risk of just meeting profits, maximizing profits, commitment for ethics or excellence, and then actually practice the leadership, model the behavior that you expect others to follow, and make sure that your reputations is of that of morality, and that you as a leader are accountable to these very behaviors. So if you do something, own up to it. So being ethical is a challenge, particularly when there's such focus today on maximizing profits. So all I would say to you in this conclusion is that you can make changes. You can go out and affect these kinds of behaviors to err more toward a more positive outcome in the bigger picture, the greater scheme of things. And perhaps this is where our focus on profitability falls short, because it always seems to be such a short-term thing. And in that we may end up failing ourselves in the long term and our legacy, our children and our grandchildren, by not doing what's right, what's moral, what's ethical today, as opposed to trying to have these very short-term gains. We may end up sacrificing the long-term goals of health and well-being for those who follow us. All right, well, thank you for your attention, and hope you enjoyed my brief overview and presentation and my thoughts. Take care.